So folks have been asking me um, after a video I did a couple weeks ago, life insurance video, how much life insurance should you have? So we talked about why it's important, but we haven't talked about um, how much you should have. So I want to break down real in a very simple way how much you should have and why you should have it. So when we talk about life insurance, what is it for? Let's take a step back to understand why do we have it. Life insurance is one of the only insurances that is not for you. It's for your loved ones, for your family, for whoever, right? You have to kind of think of it in that way and understanding that the amount you need is for your loved ones. In most people's cases, a spouse and children. Those are the two. Those are the big two, spouse and children. So, how much do you need for your spouse and your children? If you think about it that way, it's kind of an easy answer. If I passed away, or God forbid, if you one of you guys passed away and you have a wife or a husband, what would they need to keep going? Well, in my case, I work and bring in an income. If I go away and my wife and children continue to live, they'll probably need my income because financially that's what I bring to the household, right? So a very simple way to think about life insurance is you have to replace the income you brought into the household. Okay? So, thinking of it that way, there's kind of really a few components that go into kind of what you need, why you need it. But the general gist of it is you got to replace your income. How do you do that? You need enough money to put into an investment vehicle so that your spouse or children can live off the interest or return on investment, ROI, or not even ROI, but rate of return of the investment. If the stock market gives 9.6%, let's round it up to 10. You need to get 10% of your money a year. You need to make 10% of your money in the investment. You need 10 times your income. Let's think about that. If I make $100,000, 10 times 100,000 is a million. If I make 10% on that million a year, I'm going to make $100,000. Did you follow that? 10 times 100,000. If somebody made 100,000 is a million. Let's use 50,000. 10 times 50,000 is 500,000. To make 10% on 500,000, or if you made 10% on 500,000, you would make 50,000, which is your income that would go to your spouse and children to replace. That's the easiest way to think about it. Now, in addition to that, you would need to cover also a few things. You need to cover, when you actually pass away, how much it costs to bury you. You guys can kind of look you can kind of look up how much that would cost. It's probably not going to run too much over $20,000. I mean, even a nice funeral probably won't cost more than that. So you need the 20,000 to bury you. If you got a ton of outstanding debts and you wanted to pay that kind of stuff off, you would put money into that. If you wanted to put money into college education for your children, right, you would put money into that. But when you add it all up, when you add kind of all of that up, it's pretty close to 10% of your income if you're already doing those things. Now, if your income is, let's say, 50,000 or 25,000, and you want to leave a legacy, like let's say you're not putting any money into your kids' college, you can put $10,000, $20,000, depending on their ages, into the kids' college. Um, if you were to pass away through a life insurance program, you could pay off your family's debt if you have a home or if you have credit card debt or student loan debt. You can you can have enough money in a life insurance program to pay those things off if you're not doing them. If you already are doing them, 10% of your income, or excuse me, 10 times your income, should cover that. So again, if you make $100,000, you need $1 million in life insurance for your family. That'll cover debt payments, um, putting money into kids' college over time, replacing your income to your family, right, and debt coverage or death coverage. So paying for a funeral. So essentially, you need 10 times your income. But if you wanted to look at it in a four bucket kind of way, you need to pay for your funeral. You need to cover your income. If you wanted to pay off any debt for the family, you need to do that. And then you can also put money towards your children's college education. So those are kind of the four buckets you would look at. And then generally speaking, 10 times your income will cover it. So wanted to hit that, answer a question. I can't remember who asked the question or the couple of people that asked it, but that's the answer to the question. 10 times your income, or looking at those four buckets. Um, Funeral expenses, 10 to 20 grand, covering covering your income, covering any debt you have so your spouse doesn't have to worry about it, and putting money towards college education, 10,000 or 20,000 depending on the age of the child. If the kid's under, I don't know, 8, 7-ish, you probably can get away with 10,000. If the kid's over that, you probably want to put 20,000 away. So now, really quick, um, so that's how much you need, right? 10 times income or those four buckets. You don't need it forever, right? So you would be doing a 30-year term insurance, and we already covered term versus variable or whole life insurance. But 30-year, 20 to 30-year term, depending on your age, right? And the thought is you're investing as well. So if I make 100,000 and I need a million, in 30 years I have a million. So then I'm what's called self-insured, right? I've got enough money so if my spouses or if my spouse passed, well, I've got children, so it doesn't matter. But let's say I didn't have children and my spouse passed, or even if I did have children, if I pass, excuse me, if I pass, and I've got $1 million in the bank, I don't need insurance, right? And we can talk later about legacy if you still wanted insurance to, you know, give more money to your family and the community and that kind of thing. We'll talk about that later. But the gist of this one is um, 20 to 30 year term, 10 times your income, or the four buckets we discussed. It's going to come out to around the same amount is what you need for insurance. You don't need it forever because you're going to be investing to the point where you're self-insured, and then if you were to pass away, you're covered. So, wanted to hit that. Shoot me any questions you have. Reach out to me, normbakerjr.com. If you got any more questions, you want to work together on some of these things, and we'll talk to you soon. Peace.